is a singular honor to welcome you to our new facilities. After all, it's an exciting opportunity to tell you about a few sonic possibilities. Indeed, friends and supporters, welcome to the all-new Quintillion Institute of Words About Words. Last time we met, we were in transition from our old location, spoiled as it was by unpleasant memories, but now we meet again, triumphantly and joyfully, from a state-of-the-art research institute that makes our previous cutting-edge home look like the embarrassment that it ended up being. With the work of relocation behind us, our research into ancient words about words has taken on an accelerated pace, and our well-trained and even better-paid research staff continue to make exciting rediscoveries every day. Of course, as the director of this storied institute, it is my duty and privilege to report such rediscoveries to you, our faithful public. And today is no different, for I bring thrilling word of a thrilling word, a word about words that walk in parallel formation while singing the same tune. And what else could that be but paromoiosis? But I guess that's unfair of me to say. It was only very recently rediscovered, so how could you have known what I was about to say? It's no matter, though. The fact is that paromoiosis is what happens at the confluence of some of our favorite linguistic phenomena. Specifically, paromoiosis involves parallelism and sound, specifically any of our acoustic tools, including rhyme, assonance, alliteration, or consonance. And it occurs whenever you have the repetition of sound across parallel clauses. So take, for example, this clause. They noticed a jug of concentrated strawberry syrup on the shelf. In order to achieve a paramoiotic effect, we would need to write a second clause with the same structure. That is, after all, the essence of parallelism. So where our first sentence has a verb, the second one needs one too. Where the first supports a noun, the second must as well. But beyond the structural correspondence, we must also maintain a sonic one. For some of our key words, we'll want to ensure that we preserve phonetic similarity. With that in mind, a second clause like this one could do the trick quite nicely. They opened the jar of contaminated sausage slurry beneath the bench. Here you can see correspondences of assonance and alliteration, even an intimation of rhyme. But this is also perhaps the most exaggerated form of paromoiosis, and you could do just as well to mute the effect with more selective sound play. Perhaps something like this. The esteemed senator voted catastrophically, and the suffering citizens endured admirably. Here, rather than attempting to maintain phonetic consistency across most or all of the words, we just pair esteemed senator and suffering citizens. Those sizzling fricatives reinforce the parallel structure and amplify the sense of comparison between the subjects of both clauses. Structurally, the two are placed in clear comparison. Add a dash of paromoiosis, however, and the points of comparison become even more obvious as a reader is pulled into the balanced contrast, not just logically, but sensually, by the ear as well as the intellect. Now, a couple of important items of pedantic business, but with a libertine conclusion. 1. You may encounter sources restricting paromoiosis to parallelism with assonance. This restriction, however, seems to be applied inconsistently, so observe it at your pleasure. 2. While the realm of rediscovery is far from competitive, the Quintillion Institute is not the only player on the field, though we do have the best facilities. But I digress. The point is that you may encounter so-called attestations of paromoiosis, where the repeated sounds are just repeated words. It is, however, the position of the Quintillion Institute that such is rank hackwork. Simply repeating a word is the least interesting way of repeating sounds, and if the device really were a repetition of words, the consensus definition would not call out the repetition of sound only. For that reason, the official policy of the Institute is, as much as possible, to deliver novel instances of these ancient words about words at work. Much in the spirit of the Rhetorica ad Herennium, our motive is to illustrate the possibilities without rehearsing the same 12 tired examples that our colleagues have recycled over the centuries, and, more importantly, to show you that these tools are things that you can do today in your own writing, and that they're not just things that other writers do. Fourth, the ultimate reality of working in the field of ancient words about words is that these words are ancient and we are not. Language changes, life changes, and it's much less important to know what paromoiosis is than to learn that you can use syntax and sound in concert to create specific effects in your writing. If you forget the word paromoiosis but remember to repeat some vowel sounds in parallel clauses, you and we will be all the better for it. Though some may argue in favor of stricter preservation of these terms, we see no real benefit in such historical purism. You can't break the language, and you certainly won't break any ancient rhetorician's heart. After all of those hearts gave out long, long ago. So live a little. Rhetoric and poetry are all about the performance of language. Overly careful distinctions need not apply. And as long as we're on the topic of parallel structure and sound, this isn't paromoiosis, but you can never go wrong with a little parallel sound play at the phrasal level either. Maybe something like this. On our day off, we were delighted to observe boisterous birds, rollicking raccoons, and fangorious fish. Here we see sound playing a part in reinforcing the structural elements of a single clause, a phenomenon similar to paromoiosis, but also essentially different. In any case, though, the point remains that an increase in craftedness speaks to an increase in intentionality. The more artificial, which is to say obviously crafted your style, the stronger the signal you send that your work is deliberate. That does come at the cost of breezy spontaneity, but breezy spontaneity is not always the desirable effect. Parallel structure communicates both formality and a self-conscious awareness of language. Repetition of sound can do the same, though it often comes with a flavor of playfulness as well. Together, as with paromoiosis, sound and structure communicate the highest form of deliberate attention to language, the most crafted approach to sentence building. Overdone, of course, it can become tiresome, but practiced with moderation, it can show your readers that you really know what you're doing, you charming little show-off, and it can focus attention on those clauses that telegraph their unity at every linguistic level. So, as we enjoy our new research facilities, I hope you will enjoy your own paramoiotic experimentations. It's always so much harder to have a bad day when you're up to your elbows in sound and syntax, after all. And with that, we will leave you to it. As always, I thank you on behalf of the Quintillion Institute for your continued support. We hope you will reaffirm our working relationship in the usual ways. Crush the like button, scrunch the subscribe button, bunch up your paramoioses in the comments, and we'll see you again soon with more exciting rediscoveries.